Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivy and I do makeup sometimes. So we are clearly deep into the holiday season, and I thought it would be fun to do a nice little holiday themed tutorial. One thing to note about me is that I am super indecisive, so I could not. The two options were to see a tutorial using this bad boy right here. The results were really close. Patrick Starr's collection went out by literally 2%, and so since the results were like, you know, I decided to just kind of incorporate the two. So what I ended up creating for you guys is this look right here, which is the bold lip and neutral eye, a bit more fun. And your second look is this look right here, which is a little bit bolder on the eyes with a nude lip. You see what I did with that color choice? I got the red, I got the green in the other look. You know, it's gonna be festive over here. So basically, whether you are a bold lip or a bold eye kind of person, we've got something here for you today. So if you would like to see how I created those two looks, as well as a little bit of the patch. Yeah, I was so sleepy a second ago, but I got me some caffeine, so got some pep in my step. I feel like I'm ready to go. To start off this tutorial, I already have my base and brows on. I generally do my foundation. Just go ahead and head to the last video. I'll link it either in the eye down below somewhere, but it'll be linked in one of those two places. The only notable differences I'll say that there are in my base is that my under eye is a little brighter than in the last video, just because I feel like it's gonna favor this more like almost Patrick's Quad in Glam AF, which is this one right here. I'm gonna touch into this shade right here called Saddle. It's just a really nice transition shade, and I'm gonna run that through my crease. And I'm just doing that using a Makeup Shack T50 brush. Basically just setting the lid and running it up into the crease. If this isn't gonna work for you as like a skin tone shade, because that's what we're basically going for on the lid, you can use Lay to lighten it if you want. Alternatively, if you have like a foundation powder or something. Now to deepen up the crease, you're just gonna go ahead and take the dark brown from this palette right here, which is Embark, and I'm taking that on a 203 brush from Time Los Angeles. I want y'all to know that the pigment in these eyeshadows is really nice. But I am going for a softer eye look, so I'm not really gonna work on building them up too much. But I want y'all to know that the pigment is stressful time of year, and I'm definitely feeling that right now. Like this week has just been so busy with getting everyone's presents wrapped up and stuff. But I'm so excited to like celebrate with I don't know, it's weird, but it's what we do on Christmas. And it's so funny because some people in my family can't hide. I'm using it to kind of like smooth out the edges of the blend. So yeah, we eat spicy omelets, and then my aunt also always has us play like these little games to get our presents, and it's always interesting. Sliding an Oreo down my face again, I'm fighting somebody because I'm gonna be in full beat. If I didn't win, I'd be mad, but I won. In case y'all are wondering what I'm talking about, there's like this game where you like try to get an Oreo from your forehead to your mouth without touching it. Oh, it's so annoying, but it's fun. Now we're just gonna go ahead and take Brulee, and we're really gonna blow that out on the inner corner, and I'm just using a lip. I like to have a really nice, like, bright inner corner, bright under eye highlight. I think it flatters it really well and gives you that nice, like, old Hollywood kind of look. But yeah, that's like the main stuff that we do on Christmas. It's always really fun. Don't let my aunt hear you say that, because I complain about those games every year, but it is fun. Feel free to comment your like holiday traditions down below, like what holiday do you celebrate this time of year, if you do celebrate one, and like I used with Saddle, and I'm just gonna pat that on the inner third of my lid to help it blend. Now I'm just dusting off this 206 brush on my finger because I don't feel like getting another brush for my lower lash line, and I'm just gonna go in with the same crease shades we used, and I'm gonna run them across there. I'm kind of just trying to keep Saddle in the middle, and then going with Embark and keeping that on the outer corner. I'm also going to take a little bit more Embark. Bold inner corner we're gonna be going for in a second. Now to add a little something to this look, we're gonna take this glitter from Violet Voss, and this is in the shade Snowflake, and we're just gonna apply that to our inner corner. To prep for the glitter, you know, and help everything stick, I'm just taking a little bit of this NYX glitter primer on this Makeup Shack T52 brush and just applying a light layer. You're gonna wanna do this one eye at a time just to make sure that the glitter glue doesn't dry on you. Then taking a Makeup Shack T13 brush, and this is just like a little pencil brush so we have a bit more precision. We're gonna take a little bit of that glitter onto the brush and lightly apply this on the inner corner. For placement, you basically wanna apply this glitter like sparsely all over the areas where you applied the white. It's just gonna add like a cool little effect to the inner corner. If you get heavy-handed in an area, or you just have glitter where you don't want it to be, you can just always take a spoolie and kind of like flick off the pieces you don't want there. Alright, so now to add even more to my inner corner, we're gonna go in with the NYX White Liquid Liner, and I'm just gonna put some dots through there, you know, just cause, you know, lash line, and then smudge it out. I'm focusing that on the outer corner, by the way. I'm now just gonna do the Peacock Flare on the bottom and the Violet Voss Wispy My Name lashes as my lash today. Okay, so that's it for the eyes. Now we're going to get into the lips. Quick tip for if you're not that familiar with bold lips, which I definitely am not, maybe try doing your lips before you get into your face, or even if you want, do it before your eyes. This will allow you to kind of get a feel for how the lip is looking on your face and do the rest of your makeup accordingly. This prevents you from like either putting on too much blush or doing too much like dark eyeshadow or something that would throw the look out of whack. So I'm gonna do my lips before I get into my cheeks just to make sure I don't go too heavy with the blush, because I can do that sometimes. So now taking MAC Night All One Solid Color, you could use the lip liner that comes with the collection, and that is Brick. Speaking of Brick, I am just gonna run this through the center of my lips just to give the lipstick a nice base to go on top of. And then taking the man of the hour, Patrick Wu, we're gonna run this right across the lips. On me, this lip looks a little bit more orangey, but I'm actually not opposed to that. I think it's really pretty. It's not too orange that it's too far out of my comfort zone, but it pushes my limits a little bit, and I feel like it looks really cute. Another thing I will say about this lipstick is that even though it's supposed to be a matte formula, I can feel like it leans a little bit more towards the satin side. If that is not your cup of tea and you would like it to be more like matte than satiny, just make sure there's no trace of like balm on your lips, and then cover your whole lips in lip liner and then go over with the lipstick. I did that today and I feel like that helped my lips look a little bit more matte. Alternatively, you can blot off the excess shine and go over with the translucent powder, and that'll give you more of a matte finish as well. Now to wrap up the face, we're just gonna take this Violet Voss highlighter palette, and I'm gonna take this middle shade, Star Glow, and using a Makeup Shack T15 brush, I'm just gonna lightly dust that onto my cheekbones. Then taking a Luxie 182 brush, just highlighting the nose. And for this specific look, I actually like the look of a softer highlight, so I'm going in with my blush afterwards. And I'm just gonna take my Saharan Volume 1 blush palette and take this shade right here, Neo. And taking my Makeup Shack T28 brush, I'm just gonna apply that to my cheeks. And there we go, that is look 1 finished. Alright, so it's a new day and I'm getting ready to show y'all the second look, but really quickly I just wanted to show y'all how Patrick's powder applies, because this is a Patrick Star X Matte Collection infused video. So I'm just going to take it on a beauty blender. The color of this powder is actually a little like peachy pink, which had me worried at first, but y'all are about to see just how translucent this powder is. So I'm just taking my Morphe sponge, just smoothing out my under eye really quick, and I'm going to place this powder on there and just kind of blend it out with the sponge. Alright, so just got a little bit closer so you guys could see the difference. This is with one under eye set and the other one unset, but this under eye is not a different color than the other under eye. There's no white cast, none of that. It's just set, mattified, but with no cast at all, which is amazing. I did wear this powder throughout the day yesterday, and this definitely has my dry skin seal of approval. It looks amazing throughout the day. My skin didn't go crepey, it didn't look dry at all. It was amazing. It's so finely milled, sits on the skin beautifully, and I was super impressed, so good job, Patrick. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know how I feel about the powder, but since this is a video about the collection, I figured I might as well include that too. But without further ado, let's get into part 2 of the tutorial. That's a lot of dip brow on my hand. Alright, so into the eyeshadow. We're gonna be using everyone's favorite palette today, AVH Subculture. If you're unfamiliar with the controversy behind this palette, it does have a bit of a difficult formula to use. The palette is almost like too pigmented to the point where the shadows are a little bit difficult to use. So I will give you some tips and tricks on how to use this palette. Just little things that I've learned while, like, you know, since I bought it. And taught myself to use it because I don't want to waste my money. But yeah, so to start, we're gonna go right into this shade right here, Destiny, which is a really pretty like a dusty green. With these shadows, you kind of want to put them right where you want the pigmentation first, and then slowly blend them out, because otherwise you can end up blending too far and things just go haywire after that. So I'm just kind of putting it right in the crease, and I'm using the 203 brush from Time Los Angeles, and then I'm gonna slowly start to do circular motions and blend it upward. Also, when you're using this palette, you wanna make sure you're just barely tapping into the shadows and like tapping off the excess so that you can build them up slowly. Because if you go in with too much at a time, it'll be really difficult to work with and hard to blend. So you really wanna make sure you're going in with a small amount of product and blending that out and then going, you know, back and forth, back and forth. I should probably try and zoom y'all in a little closer so you can see better. 1 second. There we go, now we're up close and personal. Sorry y'all, I'm still getting used to this, okay? We're gonna learn together, okay? We're gonna learn together. Taking our handy dandy E45 from Sigma and just smoking out that lower lash line a little bit. Next, taking my IT Cosmetics All Over Shadow Brush, I'm gonna pick up this shade right here called Untamed. And I'm gonna apply that right in the crease. So basically what I do with this is I just take that shadow, of course making sure to tap off the excess, patting it right in my outer corner, and just like getting as much off of the brush as I can before I start blending. And then I start to blend it into the other shadow. I know this seems like a lot of effort and thought to go into like applying eyeshadow, and I'll admit that it is. When I initially did my review, which never went up because of many reasons, but when I initially did my review, I gave it, I think, like a 4 out of 10 or something, because I don't think eyeshadow should require this much of a learning curve. That being said, I know many people, like myself, bought it and kept it because they liked the shades and stuff like that. So I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of like tips and tricks. Really try to get the blending as good as you can using like the shade you're using at the time. So with the first shade, try to blend that out fully. Second shade, blend it out fully, and try not to have to go back and forth between shades too much, because with this palette especially, I realize that it can make the shades go muddy. Not so much the lighter shades like I'm using now, but once you get into like Axis and especially Rowdy is the shade that does it the worst. When you start like going back and forth between shades, that shade almost takes over and makes everything muddy. So try to get the blending right like on the first go. Next, taking my Makeup Shack T67 brush, I'm going to touch into Axis, which is this dark shade right here. And you can see that that has a lot of kickback. People all talked about like Roxy, but to me, Axis has the worst kickback of the palette. So just be careful dipping into that. But we're gonna tap off the excess and then apply that right into the outer corner. And we're just using that same technique from before, keeping it really tight. You almost wanna put it a little lower than you actually want the shade to be, and then blend it out once you think you've gotten enough product off your brush. I know a lot of people are experiencing like serious fallout problems with this palette, but I feel like I don't get much at all. So I just say to like try out my technique, like with the whole like patting it into the crease, making sure you've got enough product off, and then sweeping it through, and you should be okay. But if you do just go in and like sweep the shadow in, you'll definitely experience fallout. So I guess just be careful. Like I said, you don't want to do too much back and forth with this palette, but I'm just gonna go one time through with the previous shades just to make sure it's as blended as possible. Alright, so for the last 2 shades we're gonna touch into the CoverGirl True Naked Jewels palette, and I'm going to use this shade right here, the black. I'm just taking it on a Morphe M519, and I'm gonna use that to add a little bit more depth to my outer corner. This black does have little flecks of silver shimmer in there, but I feel like once you start blending it in, you don't really see too much of that, so. And for the lid shade, I'm just gonna take this like olivey green shade right here and pack that on my lid. Previously, I used the Desi X Katy The Girls palette for, you know, that look, but I know I think that's not sold anymore. I think they had their last restock a while ago. So just for the sake of the tutorial, I wanted to use something that's a little bit easier to get your hands on if you don't have it. Alright, I applied that dry so I could blend it out, but I think I'm gonna wet my shadow today because I feel like it's not really sticking to the center of my lid. Y'all don't judge me. I know I just got done ranting about how much I do not like wetting eyeshadows in the last video, but it's necessary today. I stand behind what I said about wetting brushes, like making it like harder to blend shadows though. So for this, I just made sure to really feather out the outside using the dry shadow. And then as I apply the wet shade, I'm just keeping it a little tighter so it doesn't mess with that blend I already have down. For the inner corner, I'm dipping right back into this palette. I know I said I was only using 2 shades, but apparently I forgot about this part. But I'm touching into this gold right here and just placing that right on the inner corner. Alright, so I just tight lined and lined my bottom lash line or whatever, my waterline, with some black liner and zoomed out because I realized the lashes I want to wear are downstairs, but just so you know, they're the same lashes that I wore in the last part of the video. You'll see it all in the outro though. But now we're gonna get right into blush and highlight, and for that I'm using my Saharan Volume 1 blush palette again. For highlight, I'm gonna be touching right into this shade right here called Leela, and for blush, I'm gonna end up touching into this shade right here called Toby, I think. For highlight, I'm using my T38 brush from the Makeup Shack. And for blush, taking Toby on a Time Los Angeles 101 brush. I think I want a little bit more of a glow, so I'm just gonna top off that highlighter with a little bit of this shade called Zara, which is the other highlighter from the palette. This is a little bit more on like the, I don't know, like glittery side. So it really packs a punch. I know a lot of people hate glittery highlighters, but I feel like the key to using them is A, using them sparingly, and just using them as a topper for more finely milled highlighters, and they do amazing. Lining my lips with a dark brown pencil. And since this pencil is so cool, I'm just mixing in a little bit of Mahogany from MAC, which is one of the shades from the collection as well. I feel like if you're like my skin tone and you want a really good lip pencil like to line your lips with to pair with this lipstick, I would go with Chestnut, I think it is, from MAC. It's a really beautiful deep brown, but I lost mine, so I just mixed those together. And then now we're going in with Mama Star, which is this gorgeous like peachy nude shade, and popping that in the center of our lips. Now I could go over my lips with the gloss that comes with it. This is like the matching gloss. This is again in Mama Star. But for the sake of sticking with the original look, I'm just gonna take some Jouer lip topper in the shade Skinny Dip, which is like really pretty gold, and just, you know, apply that to the center of my lips. Fix Plus. And now I'm gonna throw on some lashes and you'll see the finished look in a second. Alright, now the lashes are on, which means that we have come to the end of the video. I'm sure this was a long one, so hey, I'm proud of you. Proud of you for getting here. I hope you enjoyed these two little holiday looks I cooked up for you guys. You know, hopefully I gave y'all some inspo for when you gotta go into your living room looking fly as hell. Y'all better not judge me. I am that cousin. I'm the one who has to come to every family gathering, snatched, contoured, lashes, all of that, because it's my calling. It's who I am. That being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you did enjoy the video. If you do subscribe, you know, might as well hit that little notification bell so you get notified next time I upload something. If you would like to check out my other social media, make sure to check out my Instagram and Twitter, which are both @IvyKungu, and my Snapchat, which is MissPoisonIvy01. And yeah, that's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Bye! This hair has been sitting all kinds of ways throughout this outro, but I can't be bothered. Queen of Makeup tutorials. Queen of Makeup tutorials. Make sure to check out my Instagram and Twitter with our both